So a few months back, I read about a gentleman's fifth experience taking a certain special mushroom. At the time, he was a renowned journalist in his mid to late 30s. But what this gentleman was using them for was much different than recreation. He wasn't a regular user, but he was trying to achieve something, and he told of this experience. The previous 3 or 4 times he had taken them, he had only seen shapes, like triangles, circles, and squares. But this particular time, he achieved something different. The following was his experience. After consumption, he would sit Indian style in the middle of his living room floor. Once again, he began seeing the usual shapes, triangles, circles, and squares. But about a half hour in, something changed. He began to feel this immense pressure on his body, a pressure like he had never felt before. And slowly, he began losing his breath. He had to remind himself to relax, but as he did, the pressure kept increasing. The pressure continued to go up until right before he was just about to stop breathing. This is when he felt a large pull and almost a small explosion. Boom! It takes him a second to gather his bearings, but suddenly he realizes he's looking down at his own body. It hits him like a ton of bricks that he's back to normal, and he remembers everything, and that what he's staring at is himself and his vessel that seems to be in some sort of stasis. He even watches his chest bounce up and down just to be sure. He said he was in his purest energy form. Then, out of nowhere, a bright blue light begins to approach him. When he realizes who it is, he's ecstatic. It's his spirit guide. It's been so long, he can't believe it. They greet each other, and he begins weeping. He misses her so much. And as they ascend, he looks back at his body, and even his body is crying. When they finally reach his proper dimension, she explains everything. He has so many questions, but she's answering them as he thinks them to himself. He recalls the utter state of peace he was in, the state of being. He explains that all the problems of the world were gone, and he had no worries at all. He looks out and notices familiar light beings, but he cannot talk to them because he is in his tour on Earth. In that dimension, he has only been on his tour for days, not years, as time is much different in the light world. Then it hits him, his goal. He has a goal that he sets before he comes down to Earth. Then he said you are to select your parents. There may be a pool of 100 or 1,000. Then once he chooses his parents, based on which ones will help him achieve his goal on Earth, that's when you enter your human body as a baby in your mother's womb, as long as it's the first 3 months of pregnancy. Then you're born and forget everything, too.